Hey, welcome back. I'm Ferrickster, here to bring you some more Pokemon Go Battle League battles. These battles are played in the Retro Cup, and this is a walkthrough for how to beat the Caleb Peng Friendship Challenge. Caleb Peng, if you somehow haven't heard of him but are here watching me, I'm not too sure how that would happen. He's a very popular YouTube content creator, and I think a streamer on Twitch sometimes? Not sure, probably should have looked that up. But if you haven't heard of him, you should definitely check out his content. It is of really high quality, and he does a good job going into depth about his teams and how to use them. But the Friendship Challenge, for those of you who don't know, he wants you to use his favorite Pokemon, Zangoose and Lugia, on a team together and win games in GBL doing that. So Zangoose, if you didn't know, is pretty bad in Great League. In Ultra League, it can maybe have some use, but in Great League, overall, Zangoose, not really, like, it's a spice pick at best, and it's not really great in most situations. And Lugia is unusable in Great League. In Ultra League, I don't know, I guess maybe you could use it in Open Ultra League, but it is not great there because it is a meta with a lot of steel types and ghosts, things that kill psychics like Lugia. So, aside from using those, I want you to go for a 10 win streak in Great League, a 15 win streak in Ultra League where they're both almost usable, and a 10 win streak in Masters. And like Zangoose does not even hit 3000 CP, so it is nowhere near usable in Masters. And Lugia is okay, I guess. So, adding on to that, the stipulations of you have to start at a 2500 plus elo, which some players can't reach at all. You have to provide evidence, obviously screen recordings, because otherwise what's the point? No paid actors, which is just no cheating. No one can queue up and try to match with you in GBL and lose, and your third mon can be anything. On top of this, the requirement was that you had to play it in Open Ultra, Open Great League, or Open Masters. No specialty cups, no Premier Cup, none of that. And as you can probably guess, this challenge was undoable. I don't know if too many people even were able to hit 5 wins in a row with that team. It's not... I don't think it's possible. I'm just going to come right out and say it. I don't think it can be done. Like, by all means, try. In order for it to be doable, maybe if like the leaderboard, instead of being at 3,500 where it is now, maybe if it were at like 4,000 or something, then, you know, you'd have more spread. So the people at 2,500 would be a little bit worse than the players who are playing at 2,500 now. I don't know. Or, you know, they could give Lugia a move that would make it usable, like Confusion or something. You know, a useful fast move. That would help. Because Zangoose is probably about as good as it can be. It already has a fantastic moveset. It's just really glassy. So it's really Lugia that is the biggest hindrance to completing this challenge. But I tried anyway, and we are going to see my run of it. So since no one was, you know, able to do it in the open leagues at all, a few content creators reached out to him and were like, hey, your challenge is impossible. Can we try doing it in Retro Cup? And Caleb Peng is a pretty chill dude, and he was like, sure. By all means. Because, you know, I mean, otherwise, no one's ever going to do it. He'll never be able to get more friends. Oh, yeah, that's the prize. It's, you know, an impossible challenge. You would expect the prize would be commensurate with the difficulty, and it's being on Caleb Peng's friend list, which is, you know, nice, I guess. Probably also wondering why I'm down at 2,500-ish elo. That, I guess, should be explained. I didn't become really bad. It's just that the lack of content I've been producing for the last, like, 2-3 weeks has been because I've been doing something that's not really conducive to making content. I tanked my score from like 30 whatever 100 it was down to 300, which is the bottom, because I wanted to work on a vanity metric that doesn't matter for anything, the longest win streak that you have. People have noticed before that my longest win streak was 65. Now, after this recent run, it is up to 97, which is a lot, but it's not like a nice even 100, which is what I was kind of hoping for. Last time I got stopped at 65, which was right before 69, which I know is a culturally significant number for the internet. And it would have been nice if I was able to hit that back then. And now, you know, I'm stopped at 97, just shy of 100. So again, I'm like just shy of a goal that would have been really nice to reach. But that's okay. There's always Season 8. So managed to win this first game, and now you're going to see my starting elo and why this run of mine is actually not eligible for the Caleb Peng challenge. So I claim this 3 out of 5, and I go up to 2493. That is 7 points below 2500 that I would need to actually have this run matter. But we're going to see how I did anyway. First up, opening Zangoose into Venusaur. Venusaur is not really that common, and everything on my team does okay against it. But I switch into Lugia to try to catch this Frenzy Plant just because, you know, resisted, and since it doesn't really matter what Venusaur ends up paired up with, since I was able to clear out its energy and leave that Venusaur energy dry, I'm in a good spot for either Zangoose or Frostless to be able to take it out. Whereas if I had stayed in with Zangoose, I would have had to trade shields with it, and not as big a fan of that as I am in trying to get a shield advantage, and I don't actually manage to get it. I land the Aeroblast on this Lapras, and Aeroblast is such a strong move. It's like Flying Press, but way more expensive and way stronger. I think it's like 130 base damage or something. It's a tremendously strong move, but incredibly expensive, and Lugia charges very slowly because Extrasensory is a pretty terrible fast move. But it's either that or Dragon Tail, and I definitely recommend Extrasensory. So Venusaur comes back out, and I was going to Shadow Claw it down, but my opponent realized that and swapped in, didn't want to get Shadow Clawed, didn't want to get farmed down, and swapped into an Alolan Marowak running Hex. So he can't actually chip me and has to throw a charge move to do any real damage. I'm going to let that go because now I can bring Frostless in and I still have a shield, so I'll be able to charge up some extra energy on Marowak, so I'll be able to be within range of getting to an Avalanche on Venusaur before he's able to reach a Frenzy Plant. So I build up to nearly 2 Avalanches before I throw my Shadow Ball, and now I'm just 2 Powder Snows away from another Avalanche, and he's, I think, 3 Vine Whips away, but I'm able to Powder Snow the Venusaur down, so I don't actually need to throw the move. But yeah, GG, and that was game 1. So, next up against Alphasaurus, Zangoose into Alolan Golem. So Alolan Golem and Graveler run Volt Switch, and it is 2.5 Volt Switches to the Rock Blast. I tried a CMP tie with their first Rock Blast, but they actually ended up sneaking in an entire Volt Switch, which is terrible. So 5, 6, now he's at back-to-back Rock Blasts plus 1 extra Volt Switch. So that's, you know, I'm not really where I could be here in this particular matchup. I get the shield, and I'm just going to let myself go down. So I'm going to bring out Frostless to try to farm down. Builds up with another Volt Switch, and now he's at like a Rock Blast and then some, but he actually throws Wild Charge, which is the more expensive move, and brings in a Heat More, which is insanity. I haven't seen one up to this point. This was the first one that I saw. I had to think about it before I swapped out. Lick is pretty good against both of my backline Pokemon, being super effective. I was expecting that to be a Thunder Punch because Heatmore does learn that, but it was actually just a pup, so that's fine. I absorbed the second pup, and that's okay. I built up to more than a Sky Attack because no one knows the counts for Sky Attack, so I'm hoping, you know, he won't throw a boosted Thunder Punch or something. I'm able to reach my Sky Attack. I'm able to take out this Heatmore, and I got one of his shields and didn't have to burn one of my own, so I'm in an okay spot so far. Now Golem comes back out and farms me down, and that's not great. I bring Frostless in and try to throw the Avalanche, but Frostless actually loses CMP ties with Alolan Golem. I did not know that when I threw that. And now I'm going to Zero Bubble, but it is definitely going to KO anyway because he's dropped his defense and is already super, super low. And there's a Frostless in the back. So if I had some extra energy, this would have been really fantastic. We reached the Shadow Ball at the same time, but I win CMP because my Frostless doesn't have amazing IVs. They're just okay, but it reaches almost 1500, so that's, you know. So I win most CMP ties with this Frostless. You'd kind of have to have almost an attack-weighted one to win CMP against me, and that would make you lose a bunch of other matchups, so that would be a bad idea. All right, next up, Zangoose into Mew. This is actually what you want to see. Mew is the best lead for Zangoose. They're staying in, which is fantastic. I am going to throw this Night Slash, And I get a shield, that's fine. I'm going to stay in, continue Shadow Clawing. The longer the Mew stays in this matchup, the better it is for Zangoose, no matter what else is in the back. If it's Mew into Zangoose, really swap out. Because Zangoose will outpace Mew even if Mew is using Dragon Claw or something. Get to Night Slash so fast, and the longer you stay in, you give Zangoose a chance to end up getting that double boost. It's a 1 in 8 chance, but I mean, it does happen. If you're going to stay in against Zangoose, you're playing with fire. And now Politoed comes out, and my attack is already double boosted, so I am going to throw this boosted close combat, which does tremendous damage. One Shadow Claw, I was going to switch out to catch, but actually managed to take them out. And now there's a Deoxys in the back, so I'm going to throw another one of these boosted Night Slashes, and then swap out to Lugia to transfer that counter, because I wasn't going to reach another Night Slash under that condition. So I'm out of shields. Just going to let this go. Rock Slide doesn't do that much. I could Sky Attack him and take him out, but it just feels like the kind of opportunity to BM someone, because they had one Pokemon left with almost no health against 2 full ones plus then some. There was just no way. Shouldn't have stayed in, so I zero bubbled an Aeroblast, because that's just what you do. And yeah, managed to take that game too. So alright, next one against Cold Boomon. Opens a Alolan Graveler. So this is pretty much the same as a Alolan Golem. 2.5 Volt switches to the Rock Blast. Just like last time, he sneaks in a Volt Switch because I tried to CMP tie him and he didn't throw. So that's not amazing. I sneak in a Shadow Claw to claw back a little bit up to me at their speed. He's at back-to-back Rock Blast, but doesn't throw for whatever reason. So I'm going to reach a second Night Slash. He's built up to 1 Volt Switch over. And that was a CMP tie that I won, so I'm just going to let this... I'm going to let Zangoose go down. I'm going to come out with Frostless and try to farm. He still has to land 2 Volt Switches to reach his next Rock Blast, and I managed to farm him down. So now I have Frostless with some energy, and we're in even shield. So this is an okay place to be. Dugong comes out, which is great-ish, because Dugong in the back would have been really, really bad for Lugia, so it's much better to see it now. Land the first Shadow Ball, and that's fine. I'm not going to shield here because it's almost always the Icy Wind, and if you shield the Icy Wind, it feels really bad. Honestly, it just hurts your soul. I'm going to throw this next Shadow Ball, and I get the shield there, so that's fine. I'm build up to and try to throw my next one, but it would have been desync CMP ties. They're throwing their move. I'm going to shield this because I'm figuring it's probably the Water Pulse, and it is. And then we both insta-switched out. He switched to Drifblim. So that's not great. He could Shadow Ball me, but Dugong is energy dry, so if he takes me out, I'll bring in Frostlass, farm up a little, and then Avalanche right before he reaches another move. So instead he Icy Winds and tries to go for a farm down, but Aeroblast hits unbelievably hard, even though it is, debuffed, and now I just have to reach this Sky Attack so I can do some damage. If this doesn't take him out, he'll have a move ready, but my Frostlass already has some energy. And yeah, but the Sky Attack turned out to be enough. I managed to take that game. GG. All right, 3 in a row. All right, next up against Cobabron. Zangoose into Regirock. This is actually considered a pretty good pick for this meta. I didn't know the counts, so I decided to let him throw first. And apparently you get to the close combat at the same speed that they get to the Stone Edge. The safest thing is probably just to go straight close combat because, it's not like lowering your defense is going to make the lock-ons do more damage. You double resist them, they're going to do 1 HP each no matter what happens. But I hadn't thought this match through because this was the first Regirock I'd seen running this line. So I'm just going to shield the second Stone Edge. So now I am already down shield. I'm going to throw this next Night Slash. If you just go straight close combat, because you reach them at the same speed that they reach their Stone Edges, you can just, throw straight close combats, and if they shield, you win CMP, so you would end up with Zangoose coming out with quite a bit of health, but severely debuffed, which is much better than coming out with Regirock with enough health to reach a Stone Edge. So Lugia eats the Stone Edge, and that's not great, but Lugia is probably only going to reach 1 Aeroblast no matter what. And now we're just going to wait to see what comes out, and it's a Jellicent. So building up to, and I throw the Aeroblast right away. Aeroblast, such a strong move, does tremendous damage, but not quite enough. And now they're going to try to farm me down, which would be devastating if they managed to. But I managed to extra sensory them down just in time and immediately switch out to Frostlass so that my Lugia doesn't get farmed, and that's a good move. There is a Hypno in the back, and I just take him out just before he reaches his Shadow Ball. So, managed to take that game. GG. This is going pretty smooth. Oh, I guess that was actually game 5. I guess that was actually fifth in a row. So, managed to take this 5 out of 5, but it doesn't matter because I'm at 2493. So, not enough for it to work specifically for this challenge, but still interesting games, and we're going to see another set after this. We're going to see if I can keep the streak going. They give me a Galvantula, which is fantastic. I still don't have enough XL candy. I don't have a phone rocker or anything, so just, you know, candy builds up pretty slowly, and I really need a lot of that XL for Ultra League. And yeah, starting this next set. All right. First up, Zangoose into Altaria. Altaria is pretty bad for me as a lead. Beats Lugia, beats Zangoose pretty badly. I'm going to stay in, and if they decide to throw a charge move against Lugia, that's fine. Lugia can eat this without too much difficulty. It has the new move Moonblast, even though this was at like 3 in the morning, so clearly the person that I'm matching is many time zones ahead of me. And they bring out Mew, and I could have Aeroblasted, but I was, like, Mew is kind of squishy. I thought for sure they would shield. So that's not amazing, because now I'm going to get Shadow Clawed all the way down. This Mew is going to have so much energy. And that puts me in kind of a rough spot. But I am up a shield, so I'm going to send out Zangoose, and I'm actually going to no-shield here, even though Zangoose is pretty squishy. This is going to do a lot of damage, just because Altaria is so good against Zangoose. I really don't need Zangoose. What I need is to, you know, to maintain shields for my Frostlass, so that Frostlass can sweep at the end of the game. Frostlass is very good as a late-game sweeper. It charges up really fast and hits unbelievably hard. And between Avalanche and Shadow Ball, there's not a lot of things that can, you know, that resist both of those things. The only ones are like Bibarel and maybe Litleo if someone were to bring those. But those don't perform amazingly in the rest of the meta, so most people aren't running them. But I have seen them, so watch out. Thankfully for me, he had a Medicham in the back, so I'm just going to Shadow Ball that, and my opponent realizes that it's over. I still have shields. There's just no way. And yeah, managed to take that game. Game 6, GG. All right, next up against Alexius XP. Zangoose into Quagsire. Have seen a few Quagsire, actually. So, it is 8 Mud Shots to the first Stone Edge, and I think 7 to the next one. So I throw this Night Slash and don't get a shield, and that's pretty bad. So I am going to shield this Stone Edge. It would probably KO me. Build up to a close combat and throw another Night Slash. I am quite a bit ahead on energy, but he no shields again, so that is terrible. I'm not able to reach my next Night Slash, so I end up having to shield this second Stone Edge. So I am down 2 shields, but I do have energy and switch advantage. So energy on Zangoose can be pretty useful. Close combat hits really, really hard, and between Night Slash and close combat, you can hit a lot of things decently. I landed the first close combat and was surprised at that, and so I throw my Night Slash, and now I switch out to Frostlass to transfer that that Ice Shard, and there's a Jellicent in the back, and it still have a shield, so this is not great. I'm going to throw this Shadow Ball, and it gets shielded, obviously. I'm not going to be able to reach another Shadow Ball. They are definitely going to Shadow Ball me before I get there, and the Shadow Ball will take me out. And they are probably going to be able to outspeed Lugia, because Lugia is really slow, but Zangoose is pretty fast. I am going to reach this Night Slash well before they reach their next move, and yeah, Shadow Clawed a whole bunch, but they do reach their Ice Beam here and manage to take Zangoose out. So that's pretty bad. I'm down to a Lugia. If this Jellicent Shadow Balls me, it will be pretty bad, and they reach their move. Lugia is kind of thick, so I am going to survive this Shadow Ball, but my god, am I ever low. I do have a Sky Attack stored, though, so able to throw this Sky Attack. Thankfully, the Dugong wasn't at an Icy Wind yet, or that could have or I would have lost that game. I think they were one shy, so I just barely managed to hang on there. And yeah, managed to take that game. All right, next up against Abinado. Zangoose into Crustle. Crustle is really, really Crustle is really bad for my backline, so definitely better than I'm seeing it here in the front. But even here in the front, it definitely beats Zangoose and even shields. I am baiting Night Slash because I really can't throw close combat. If I throw close combat, they will be able to fast move me down way too easily, and I really, really, really don't need that. I just need to do any damage that I can to get it low enough that I can farm it down with Frostlass without having to worry about, getting smacked down to death. And there's a Hypno in the back. So I'm just going to build up to and throw my Shadow Ball right before they get to their first punch. And they let it go. And that's fine. That's honestly the correct choice. Crustle comes back out, and I am... Oh my god. The Smackdowns are doing so much damage. I have to shield here. It is the Rock Slide. That's fine. And I Powder Snow the rest of the way down. And now there's a Pidgeot in the back. So, Gust is a lot like Confusion, and that's a 4-turn move. I built up to and threw this Avalanche right before... I'm one away from my next Avalanche. So, even if this Pidgeot takes out my Lugia, all I will have to do with Frostlass is throw one Powder Snow and then throw my Avalanche. It would happen before a Gust would register, because, Gust is such a slow move. But because I'm built up to an Aeroblast with Lugia, I figure, you know what, I'll just shield here, throw the Aeroblast, and kind of win with a late game nuke, because that is just a more stylish way to win. And if you played the main series games on Game Boy, I think it was Cool Trainer, male and female, that would tell you that the truly talented win with style, and that's what that looks like, I guess. I don't know. Ignore me. All right, game 10. So going for this 10 in a row, but it doesn't matter because I started too low. Kingdra in the lead. Kingdra is pretty decent against everything on the team. I don't really have a hard counter, and it doesn't really hard counter anything either. So I'm just going to stay in with Zangoose, kind of maybe, fight for switch advantage. They no-shield the first move, and I'm going to throw the or they shield the first move, and I'm going to throw the close combat. I honestly thought they wouldn't shield it, but they did, so I'm just going to swap out because I don't want to get farmed down. Now that I dropped my defense, I wouldn't be able to reach even a Night Slash out of there. I figured they would Octazooka me because I had switch locked myself, but they actually, to their credit, threw the Dragon Pulse, through the Outrage, and they bring their own Zangoose, which is dangerous for my team. So now there's a Zangoose with energy, but I do have 2 shields, so I'm going to send out my own Zangoose just to sponge up some energy. I'm not intending to keep Zangoose going, and bring out my Frostlass. I'm going to shield this first move because otherwise I'm going to be too much in farm down range for anything. And I already know that they have a Dragon Breath user, so, I will end up having to take quite a bit of Dragon Breath damage. I throw the Avalanche as soon as I have it because the worst thing that could happen to me at this point would be if they threw the Octazooka and got the debuff. Even I would have had to shield it no matter what, because it would do too much, and the debuff would doom me. So, throwing this Shadow Ball on their 4th Confusion, so, trying to CMP with their punch, but, there's really no reason for them to throw the punch. And, able to Powder Snow them the rest of the way down. Managed to take that game. GG. Okay. All right, next up against Kaneki. Zangoose into Mew. So, again, fantastic lead. The longer they stay in, the better it is for me. I don't throw the Night Slash right away, and they tried to catch it on Altaria, so it's definitely good that I didn't throw. I switch out to Frostlass quickly. Definitely have to switch in Frostlass kind of quickly so that you can throw this Avalanche before they reach their Sky Attack. Otherwise, you'll have to shield the Sky Attack, and you could end up going down a shield. Excuse me. So, I Mirror Shield that Sky Attack because I really want to maintain alignment. Mew is pretty strong against Lugia. We have some lag, so I kind of lost count and was worried that they would be at another Sky Attack. Throw this Avalanche, take them out. And now Mew can definitely come in and farm down, and that wouldn't be amazing, but it wouldn't be terrible either. What would be pretty bad is if Jellicent came in to farm down. So I throw the Shadow Ball, not wanting to bait with the Avalanche. And I get the shield, and that's fine. I'm farming. I get to the Avalanche, and I throw it. That's not really what I should have done. What I should have done is switch out, bank the Avalanche in case I would have to throw it against Mew. But yeah, I end up getting farmed the entire way down. I bring out Lugia to sponge up some damage. And they throw the Ice Beam. So, Definitely wanted to absorb that on Lugia instead of on Zangoose. I am throwing the Night Slash as soon as I can, and yeah, Mew comes back out. I throw a few more Shadow Claws, and now I throw the Night Slash on Mew. It does tremendous damage because Zangoose has pretty high attack. And yeah, now all I need to do is shield this, and I can Shadow Claw the rest of the way down. And my opponent recognizes that and resigns the game. GG. All right. So, that was game 10. 10 in a row, but unfortunately I started just below 2,500, so this isn't actually eligible. Caleb Peng does not want to be my friend because, yeah, it was 7 points too low. And, I mean, you know, the rules matter. If you let it slide for me, you have to let it slide for someone who's 5 points below that, and then 5 points below that. It erodes the challenge as you go along. And, yeah, that was my last battle of the day. So, I haven't died yet. I just, you know, ran out of games. So, I'll continue, you know, the challenge later tonight when I get my sets. Maybe push a little bit higher. Maybe I'll be able to do it. And, yeah, it's definitely doable now that we can do it in the Retro Cup. And if you think that it couldn't be done 7 points higher, if you think I couldn't do it 7 points higher, I can tell you that there's definitely a way to do it. And you don't even have to be 7 points higher. Think about it. Your starting MMR has to be 2,500. But it doesn't have to stay that high. So if you were to, say, reach 2,500 and start a set and lose your first 4 games and then win game 5, that game 5 that you win is game 1 of your streak. And the ELO for that, your starting ELO is 2,500. After that, you cash that in, you go down to 2,450. Now you do 5 games at 2,450, win all of those, go up. You're already at 6 games. And, you know, you'll end up at like 2,520 or so. And then just win 4 games at 2,520, and that's it. 10 in a row, starting ELO at 2,500. That's really all it takes. So it's not even that you have to do it and it'd be even harder than I did it. You could do it and it would be even easier than the way I did it now. Because the way I did it now didn't involve, you know, a smart setup. Because I'm really just trying to push for the leaderboard. This was just something to do while I was, you know, on the way. Since I was going to be passing through 2,500 anyway, I might as well do this challenge because it seemed interesting. And honestly, it produced some really interesting games. I think Zangoose and Frostlass pair really well together. I think Lugia is not good, and you should probably substitute something else there if you're just trying to climb and win games. I think you can definitely do it with Zangoose and Frostlass. I think they have a lot of play together. But yeah, those were my battles. Hope you enjoyed this content. If you managed to use this walkthrough to win the Caleb Peng challenge, definitely ping me, let me know. You know, shout me out because you'll be famous for winning the challenge, and, you know, it'd be nice to get some recognition. Come on, guys, help me out here. If you like this content, do the things you're supposed to do at the ends of videos. You know exactly what you're supposed to do, so do all of the things. It really helps me grow and blah, 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 blah. I'll see you guys on the next video.